the Nikon 600mm f6.3 VRS. It's wonderful. I want it. I will have it. Hello friends, my name is Leigh and I create videos about photography as an art and as a lifestyle. This will be my Super Telephoto lens for Nikon Z mount. There are several Super Telephoto options and this isn't the one that I thought I would be purchasing, but here we are. Let's talk about it. I will go through some of those other Super Telephoto options that I considered, and I will share photos that I captured with this lens. Before we get into it, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. They are free and it helps the channel a ton. When I say Super Telephoto, it is typically considered to be a focal length beyond 200mm. I use these types of lenses for wildlife, but you could use them for sports or anything that's really far away. Before Nikon introduced any Super Telephoto lenses for Z mount, I was using my Nikon F mount 200 to 500mm f5.6 lens with the FTZ adapters. However, the opportunity to crop into the photos captured with my high megapixel Z7 and Z9 revealed the weaknesses in the clarity of the lens and left me wanting more. After selling that lens, I used my Z mount 70 to 200mm f2.8 VRS lens with the 2x teleconverter, which is great, but I want 600mm and that only got me to 400. Now, Nikon has a number of options for Super Telephoto for Z mount. I briefly entertained the idea of the 400mm f2.8 TC VRS or the 600mm f4 TC VRS, but those are large lenses, which wouldn't be fun to pack into a camera bag, and they are both very expensive. I really thought I would end up with the 180 to 600mm of 5.6 to 6.3 VR, more reasonably sized and a fraction of the price. But then Nikon announced this 600mm f6.3 VRS, which has a phase Fresnel lens element, making the lens super compact and lightweight for what it offers. It's pricier than the 180 to 600, but a lot less than the other Super Telephoto primes. The clarity is unreal. This lens has Nikon's S designation, which it saves for its best lenses. The VR designation on the lens stands for vibration reduction. That's Nikon's verbiage for optical stabilization. While your camera might have in-body image stabilization, which is great and will work with your optical stabilization in your lens, you need that stabilization in the lens because it is what moves around the most when you're shooting photo and video. One more thing about the lens is that it does have programmable function buttons and a programmable ring, in addition to the manual focus ring. Things like that enhance usability, just like they do with camera bodies. I used this lens on several bodies and sometimes with teleconverters. We are going to look at images captured with the Z9 in this video, but I did try it on my Z52. That was an amazing setup for hiking up a mountain because it was so lightweight. And I used it on the Z6 III, and you can see those photos in my video about the Z6 III, and I'll link to that in the description. So the deal is, I am moderately obsessed with prime Super Telephoto lenses. I've used them for a number of systems, and while there is the trade-off of only having one focal length, the clarity is what draws me to them, especially with high megapixel cameras like my Z9, where I have the capacity and the desire to crop quite a lot. Having a lens with this kind of clarity is necessary. You can see how much I can zoom into these images. Let's see what this turtle looks like up close. Ah, look at those stripes. Okay, let's do another. These doves were kindly hanging out on this branch. Zooming into this one, we can see the skin around its eye, the details in the feathers. Very sweet. This is also a good example of the depth of field that you will see at f6.3, though remember that the depth of field will change depending upon your distance from the subject. But the second dove here is definitely blurry. I sat and watched these double-crested cormorants for quite a long time. One, because I was in the shade and it was sunny and hot this evening, but also because I just like watching them interact. I even took the time to set the camera up on a tripod for some extra stable video. I also liked this spot because I was able to get an angle on the birds where there was a little foliage in the foreground and a lot of separation from them to the background. When doing wildlife photography, you're so often just trying desperately to capture the photo of the creature that the artistic side of photography can be left behind. But when your subject is relatively still, you can take the extra time to think about framing and such. And then the moon came out, so we may as well zoom in on this photo as well. I know a lot of folks like photos of a full moon, but I am partial to a crescent moon myself. I enjoy seeing the surface go from light to dark, or in this case, sort of dark, because there was definitely still quite a bit of light in the sky. But we can see the clarity again here. And speaking of getting dark, I stuck around as the sun set and I captured a few more images, increasing ISO sensitivity as needed. You can tell a little bit in these images that the sunset was gorgeous. You can see the golden and orange colors reflected in the water. In all, the Nikon Z system has continued expanding, and I'm almost surprised to see so many super telephoto lens options. It seems like I blinked and the collection was filled out. I'm glad I waited because I really like this lens for its clarity and its size and weight. Of course, I need to know what super telephoto lens you like to use for wildlife photography or anything where you need that extra range. Why did you choose the lens that you chose? Even if you use a different brand, let us know. I use all kinds of different brands here. Thank you to Nikon for loaning me the 600mm along with a bunch of other gear. I've created a number of Nikon specific videos recently, which you can see at my Nikon Z playlist, which I will link to in the description of this video. I will also add links to a few other videos that you might find interesting in the description as well. Of course, as you are going down to comment and to click on those links in the description, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. I have a couple of really cool trips that are coming up soon that I am really excited to share. I'll be using all sorts of different gear, including micro 4/3 mount gear from different brands, and a trip where I'm pretty sure I'm going to use all Nikon gear. My roots in photography and on this channel are Nikon, and I still have a large portion of my audience using Nikon, and it's really has been fun to see the viewers enjoying this recent Nikon-centered content. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.